Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen, to the MDL Changshu Major English broadcast brought to you by yours truly, Kyle,
And the one and only BSJ.
the man, the myth, the legend himself. We
And the
got
meme.
Grant in the building as well. Backstage, I think he's on stream 2 for this opening series. I'm not sure. How
Right
you
where he
feeling?
belongs. No, I'm kidding. But I'm feeling good, man. Ready for a nice NA cast of non-NA Dota. About the
Mm-hmm.
best quality you can get, right?
It's actually the opposite, BSJ. You figure you play enough pubs in this region, you should know that. I'm sleep deprived. I got off of playing at 2 p.m. today, and even I know that I'm sitting in the greatest Dota 2 country? No, not really. I mean, I
Nation.
can't even make a joke. We know we're not that good. I'm sorry.
I mean, you're right. You can feel the greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're 5 minutes into the pub game, you're mids 0-3, and he's already breaking his items.
Yeah, well, that's where the 6-month bans come in. I would love to see the statistics on like country representation of how many players have been 6-month banned.
I feel like NA might not be that high because I feel like it's mainly the players from other regions getting banned somehow. Like you hear about Emochu and stuff like that. I haven't heard of any NA players getting
What
banned.
do you think about the whole win trade? Let's get into this
Hey,
in like the
this.
filler time. All right,
Yeah, yeah.
we can go into the draft. The game's already up. Our first game today is going to be OG versus Invictus Gaming. I believe Stream 2 and Stream 3 have a Secret Infamous, and I don't remember the other.
Your
But let's
guess
be
is as good
real.
as mine.
You got Kyle, you got BSJ. Like, where are you guys going? You're staying here. Let's be real.
Exactly. Pretty hyped for the series. We already see the Techies ban. Has OG proved some sort of prowess with Techies? I have not seen it work in a pro game yet.
Neither have I. It does seem like a real easy way to just tank a free loss, though. So maybe in a BO2, you just bust it out, make people afraid of it, then they ban it for the rest of the tournament. I know Jarex plays it. He's been spamming it in a couple of pubs, and it's just the sort of thing OG would pull off. But I like the first pick Wisp. I think I haven't actually seen a Chinese team pick Wisp first overall in like a very long time, and that is the hero I love to see in response, not just because it's broken in the meta right now, but because it is for sure the Wisp counter.
In what way do you think Leshrac counters Wisp? I never thought of him traditionally as a Wisp counter compared to heroes like Disruptor or
See,
Witch Doctor.
I think Disruptor I don't even think is a counter to Wisp in a lot of ways. Like, sure, you can overlap the reload, but you can glimpse a guy out, but you still land a core on top of Disruptor, and then that guy's dead. Whereas Lesh, you just fight so well, you do massive amounts of AoE damage, and your Edict constantly cancels bottle ticks and urns.
Oh, yeah. That's a
And
big deal to
you'll be
cancel out the regen.
Yeah, and like just having a stun like for the interrupt on the reload when he tethers through, but it's more just the massive AoE and the constant cancel of any regen.
So this opening from OG is like my worst nightmare as a safe laner. I see this Leshrac Beastmaster, and I have struggled to figure out what to deal with this type of lane pressure. I'm expecting right off the bat to see this dual aggro possibility. They could always make the Leshrac core, but I just imagine the Beastmaster Axe spam and the Leshrac Lightning Storm spam, and I don't really know carries that can survive this. I've seen Gyro be picked as a response, but the high damage output from Beastmaster 2, I feel like you struggle for CS as well. So I'm looking to see how IG really deals with this. Do you think they'll try lane it? Do you think they'll just stick to 2-on-2s that we've been seeing a lot of?
Well, what I've seen, I think there's two ways you deal with this sort of lineup. I liked what Secret did in a game where they late picked an Ursa with a roaming Shaker, and the Ursa just bought a bunch of regen, and the Shaker would rotate over, land a kill, maybe look to go mid, and they would just, you can't contest the lane, right? But you can kill them over and over if you have the ability to do so. The other option that I've seen utilized is running a defensive support like Warlock with some naturally tanky hero. Like we saw, what was it? Who did VG play in that game? They just played it at GESC, but Warlock Spectre by Fnatic. Okay, they Warlock Spectre in the safe lane against like an aggro Chen lineup, right? And you can do the same sort of thing against Lash Beastmaster, where you just spam heal on your melee core. You last hits with a Quelling Blade, because naturally, if you're going to get harassed by these heroes, they're also going to shove the lane into your tower. So as long as you can sustain and always be able to CS under tower, who really cares how much harass you take?
Yeah, I agree with that. The Warlock definitely seemed powerful. It enables these heroes that previously would struggle to sustain the lane, now that they can just kind of tank underneath the tower, and as long as they have some sort of escape, because the concern about tanking under tower is that they can just dive you, but a hero like Spectre, even though she's considered a weaker laner, she at least is able to navigate an escape route with her dagger into the trees. I noticed that they just had no potential to dive Envy, and he just sustained and got what he got, and usually in this meta that doesn't really work, but With the Warlock support, it definitely enables it.
Yeah, I don't even know if diving is really viable though until much later levels.
I just think about the 5-minute catapult.
Yeah, I could see that, but the way I see it, if you're trading in a lane against Lesh Beastmaster and you're just worried about the catapult, like I'm just not that concerned about it anymore. I feel like at that point you've kind of served your purpose, and if you have to force a teleport down there just to deal with that wave, like who cares? But these heroes, like, they're not going to be 6 at that point. They're not really able to pressure the tower independently, so you just kind of show up and force them off. The catapult dies and you're fine. That's what happened in the EG game too, where they just sort of stalled the game out long enough, and then at a certain point they just kind of win automatically. Let's go in detail about this opener from OG though. I think Beastmaster is also my favorite hero against Wisp because you can just throw your creeps on him. You roar the Wisp, like you just kill him, and there's nothing you can really do about it. You have vision advantage as well. I just think it's a super sick pick, and it's just one of the best openers for OG as well, as I think that Mad on Beast and S4 Lesh are like their best player-hero combinations, not just for those players, but as a team.
I also think the Beastmaster aspect of like the split push and constant pressure on one lane does make Wisp lineups have a little bit more difficulty splitting up the map the way they want to, because if you do the 2-3 delegation with the Wisp lineup, the Beastmaster can threaten that, either the Wisp combo or the 3 separate heroes. So I think that overall the immediate response from OG was we're just going to pick a bunch of lane pressure between the Lesh and the Beastmaster. Lesh is a hero that can do it from the support role, which is really nice because at the end of the day, if you relocate to kill him, it's really not that big of a deal because you're probably losing some other lane to the Beastmaster. And I really like the bans from OG particularly, just because Beastmaster is a hero that the main weakness in my eyes is having a hero you can't roar that can just run at you and basically force you out of the fight. And they immediately ban the Tide and the Abaddon, 2 heroes that the Abaddon removes the roar from everybody, but Tide is a hero that can just walk in the middle of the fight and also takes very little damage from the summons.
Yep, I agree. I think it's also something that China loves playing, especially when you have a Gyro. You give them Gyro Tide, and they already have this really easy to execute team fight that you never really beat, especially when you have a couple cores that don't want to buy early BKBs. Not a fan of the Bane pickup at all.
You don't like the setup for relocate?
I don't think he accomplishes much in this sort of game, and I feel like he has poor matchups against every hero in OG. I think he just dies. It's not bad if you can, dominate the laning phase, but I always would prefer something with more reach than a Bane when you're playing with Wisp. I think reach is super underrated. If you're playing with like a Disruptor as an example, or even a Lion, just for more of the immediate play, it just seems like it's a lot easier and more reliable to set up, and you have the ability to shove waves as well, at least a bit better than a Bane. I like the AA pick to an extent. It confirms the Lesh's core, which I feel like we probably know just going into this game. The Lifestealer first 3 ban from OG is kind of telling that it's really the one hero Lesh doesn't really enjoy playing against. You can argue Pugna as well, but
you can itemize around a hero. Like
exactly. You can't really do anything when this guy just runs at you BKB'd for 6 seconds. Oof, I am not a fan.
I am not either. I think the reason they picked it was the removal of the roar reliably for camping behind their gyro for the counter initiate, but I feel like even if you remove the roar, they have so many follow-up disables on OG, as well as the press the attack is not just a purge, it's also healing and helps with the sustain of Wisp, but they have the AA for that.
And they also, what do you do to a Lesh? I feel like he just runs in. Like, when you think OG, right, who's like the only good player? I'm just kidding. The best S4 TI winner is going to run in as Leshrac, his best hero, and just kill everybody. And you haven't dealt with this hero whatsoever, and they first hooted. And I just don't know if I agree with this line of thinking. I don't know how much Dota you've been watching over the last 3 weeks, but just as a disclaimer to those of you watching at the moment, I got off my plane today at 2 p.m. I'm casting currently at 7 p.m. I don't know how this quality is going to be on my end, but I'm going to do my best. But
I don't think people's expectations are very high in the first
Thank
place.
God, as long I keep the bar set as low as possible.
I mean, it's a good strategy. That's how I like to play my pubs and my competitive matches.
Yeah, I'm just glad you're here to join me. I think for the first time ever, you might actually be able to carry me through a game.
As long as I'm not playing Lifestealer, we're all good.
No, we're not. It's not right now.
But one thing I wanted to say about the draft was I feel like the Legion, not only the limited save aspect, but also I like to think you have a way of reliably winning duel. Like, I think you're going to duel them, you have some follow-up bursts. So I do like the Lina ban from OG, but Like if Legion Commander doesn't have that follow-up to burst in the dual combo,
Bane and LC are the same hero. You know?
Yeah.
Like, they're literally trying to do the same thing, and they both have the same weakness, which is lack of wave shove, right?
Yeah.
So you're playing with Io Gyro. Now you have a Kunkka, but I'm all right with that pick, but I feel like IG is, like, all in on this concept of, like, oh, we're going to just, like, find some guy alone. But I look at a team fight, right? I don't know how you're going to win one because they can just run at your Wisp and your Gyro. And if those heroes, like, if Gyro goes down, it's like a pure single core lineup. He's the one that's actually going to be dealing damage once the Kunkka combo is used. There's literally no damage anywhere else. So if you run at this Wisp Gyro the whole game, kill the Gyro a couple times, like OG, look at how much damage just their support combo is going to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Like AA is a scary hero.
I think AA Earth Spirit are going to end this game with more damage done than the Kunkka and LC.
I honestly believe you on that assumption. I feel like OG's lineup is just easy to round off here. I feel like I usually like to pick stunning carries when I have an AA just to set it up, like the Wraith Kings, the CKs, the sometimes Voids for team fights, but I don't think they need something like that. I just think they have a lot of choices. I think their draft has all the tools already, and
you could TA perhaps, but I don't like it too much against Kunkka. And it's a no.
So they do go Void. I mentioned it, but I didn't really think they would choose it because of a lot of the lockdown single target on IG. I feel like, oddly enough, we may see the classic Lincoln's Rush.
No, see, I don't agree with you because you don't need the Void to deal damage in this game. If they want to blow up the Void, do you really care? He's doing his job because that means
just gets the chrono off.
Like, and not even that. Like, if Kunkka has to blow a full combo and they duel him or something, right? The Lesh Beastmaster are going to clean up. Void doesn't have to do damage. He has 4 super high damage heroes on his team already. All No-Tail has to do is like No-Tail things, right? Like just run around, farm. Maybe he dies a couple times, but IG have to blow so many resources to land just 1 kill on him that in the meantime, his heroes are either going to be supporting him and then they're going to turn the fight around, or they're just going to be shoving other lanes, because the other thing IG's draft is missing that I've been talking about for what feels like months is any ability to pressure objectives.
Yeah.
So if you can't kill creeps, you can't kill towers. I can see this game being relatively even until OG gets an early tower lead. They capitalize on their advantage. As for Lesh is just Zamboni and creep waves in the jungle and heroes, and all of a sudden they have an Aegis, they win the game.
So what you're saying is you favor the IG draft here? I'm kidding. I think we're on the same page. I feel like OG's lineup is just more straightforward. Like, it has a clear-cut plan, and
it's just easy, right?
Yeah, I feel like IG's lineup is just a bit awkward.
Yeah, I always I look at it. There's like 3 things that I feel like if you have I've yet to see a team lose that I felt like had 3 advantages in a draft. One is, all right, you take their 5 heroes versus the enemy 5 heroes. Pretend everyone just cast their spells, right? Who wins the fight? In this game, it's OG, overwhelmingly so. It's simple. You chrono anything, that target's going to die. They have AA Void. And then you also have to consider who can kill the most creep waves the fastest, that's OG, and who can kill towers, and that's OG. So how do they really lose this game? And also, just another word to the viewers, this is BSJ on the OBS work, so if anybody is upset about the T-Tours, just make sure you tweet at him. I believe it's at Banana Slamma-Jamma. Is that correct?
Slam-Jamma.
Slam-Jamma?
Yeah. I wasn't cool enough at the time to think about the Slamma, and I never hear the end of it. But I feel like, my map awareness, as you well know, is on point, so I can't imagine missing a
arguably the strongest
event.
part of your game.
Yes, arguably. There's just so many things to choose from that it's kind of rough sometimes. But what do you think of these level 1 smokes? I've been seeing it a little bit more for the mid ward we see from OG. Something that I feel like was very common about a year ago and then kind of fell off, and now it seems to be back.
I don't mind it. I think I'd rather see the level 1 smokes so you can get the recharge going right away versus I don't know, there's just so much gold on supports nowadays. Like, you always have the ability to do it, and if you end up landing a kill, I think it's worth. Plus, it's just like the intimidation factor in some ways. You can force the enemy. You get lanes knowledge faster as well. They didn't ward like where you'd expect necessarily, but that ward in the camp is probably going to be unnoticed.
Yeah, this is a big ward. It's barely blocks the camp and doesn't provide any vision, but it's very hard to deward, and it leaves you kind of with a 50-50 where you want to deward that camp.
Which is why I would argue that every support should be buying 2 sentries, but opting instead for 2 mangoes on the Bane is Q.
I struggle to get my supports to buy even 1, so 2, I definitely agree that if you want that pull camp in most lanes nowadays, since there's no bounty runes at 2 minutes anymore, you're all you're doing is laning. So having that extra pull camp is a pretty big deal. I think a lot of the focus is going to be on this top lane. Looks like they're even aggro tri-laning with the 2 supports right off the bat.
Yep, I like this decision, though, because as we just talked about, this is what we saw in some game VGJ played against a Gyrocopter as well, where they just ran at him, pressured him, and Gyrocopter is a very level-dependent carry. So if your only response is to like tri-lane back, you're going to feel bad, because even if you land kills here, even if you win the lane, it doesn't actually matter, because Gyro just won't be able to rotate, and the LC and the Kunkka need his rotation to actually deal damage and finish kills. The supports are more of setup sustain versus follow-up. So even if Kunkka Boat is like landing a combo, Bane can show up for a sap or Io can tether in, but they really want the Gyro if they're actually going to be able to clean up the rotations that will inevitably come in once Kunkka starts casting his
He's
combo.
their primary source of damage in fights. They have the Kunkka Tidebringer, but that's just one bit of burst. They'll need, like you said, the follow-up damage, and Io Bane will not do that. So I think that the also thing we didn't point out in the draft was that the Void is a really nice laning matchup against the LC pressure, because her main source of harass is the overwhelming odds, and you can just time walk it off every single time, as you see him do just now on the bottom lane. So it's a very nice lane matchup for him.
I think it's LC favorite, though, for sure, just because of the moment of courage.
Well, you're not trying to win that lane if you're aggro tri-laning, right?
Exactly, but that's like my point, right? Where OG, they don't actually care about bottom, because Void just needs levels, and at any point the AA shows up, casts a Chilling Touch and a Cold Feet on a Chrono, and the LC's dead. Up top is the lane that matters. You just slow down the Gyro, but specifically keep him under-leveled, and you're going to feel fine. Mid is going to be a trade. I think it's probably a little Kunkka favorite because he just hits so hard, but, I mean, you're winning top at this point, so.
They're going on the A here, but they're kind of initiating onto the Wisp. He might go down here, gets the kickoff, but they get the first blood on the Bane. I think these type of trades are good for OG. I think
for
that,
sure.
Like, Gyro is the one that doesn't want to be dealing with this crap, as you pretty much already said.
No, the only reason you want to tri-lane a Gyrocopter is if you can essentially just secure his lane. Like, the way you win games nowadays, if you're going to try and tri-lane, is to get the carry ahead by playing away from him. Like, you essentially give him 2 or 3 creep waves for free and zone. And then once Gyro's like level 3, level 4 with an Aquila, you can start pulling, a support can rotate, and he's now in a position like we've seen so many Morphlings when LGD plays it, EG plays it, against a Beastmaster. They're like level 5, Beastmaster's level 2 or 3, and they can just crush him alone. And
they're
then you snowball
at that
hard.
point.
Yeah, now you have a level 8 Gyrocopter in 9 minutes. He's just taking over the game by himself. But in this case, you're just going to trade, and that's terrible in this position if you're IG, because you will never be able to win team fights. So your only real chance is to just kind of snowball, get this Wisp and Gyro super ahead in levels, but how do you do that in a tri-lane? Especially with your easy camp blocked.
Yeah, I was going to say the pull camp in these type of lanes, like when the lane's out here, what did they do to this Beastmaster? There's no pressuring him, and they're the ones that have to play on the back foot. And even though they got that second kill on the Earth Spirit, kills just don't mean anything unless it makes the lane an advantage for you.
Yeah. The one benefit is that the LC is crushing bottom, but it is, I would say, like a 70-30 matchup, LC versus Void. Maybe 60-40, I guess, but I just don't know how much that'll matter. I don't believe in LC as a hero right now, especially with a Kunkka on his team. I think that for that hero to be super effective, you need a support and a core that guarantee the dual win, and you'd really like to have like a cleanse into steroid hero as well.
That was really close. He has the 2 points up in the moment of courage, but doesn't get that last proc from the tower attacks.
I hope. I was thinking, you don't buy a bottle. You can probably just rush like Treads this game, which is what he's gonna do. I like that choice. When offlaners, first off, Treads LC is great, but now that you can't buy phase at the side jump anymore, I just think it's super value to just grab it right away. And if you check up top, there's a new ward place by Radiant, so they'll see Vision on the side. They also killed the trees. They're going in on the Bane here. He's going to get the sleep off in time, but he'll be stunned. Tethered by Io, who's now salving, so he'll probably survive. Gyro chasing down the AA, but he should make it out.
Swiftly out of balance.
Is that TP from Lesh?
Yeah.
Why is holy shit, that's a hasted S4.
S4 rune in action.
Uh-oh.
The flesh is weak.
That wasn't value,
That
unfortunately.
indeed was not, but at least he'll make his way quickly back to lane.
Oh, no, he won't. He's going to get those brand new bounty runes that now completely fill your bottle. So it's all of a sudden very worth.
The one thing I like about the new bounty runes is I don't have to worry about who gets them as long as my team gets them. You always had those like random debates about the mid laner or the supports taking it for their items, and now you're just like, I got a bottle, give me the rune.
I just never liked that TP because in order for it to be value, you need to like save one of your heroes and kill at least 2.
He just goes down in the bottom lane solo kill. A little awkward there. Didn't have time walk available and just goes down to the unexpected damage. And in the top lane, they're going again.
Do you agree with this Gloves of Haste first item on No Tail?
He does this a lot. He does it whenever he's in a lane with a lot of trading. I think it's okay if you're the one that's winning the trades.
Don't you just buy an Aquila though? Like, always?
Well, I'm saying like if you're the one winning the trades, then you immediately buy the Glove of Haste just to, like you said with the treads, where you're. Oh my gosh, kills galore. I missed something top, but oh no, he ganked him mid, set up for the boat.
Man, IG off to a really dominating start, but I'm still hesitant to say that they're going to be able to transition this lead into objectives, which is the thing that scares me about their lineup. I feel like OG's first rotation with Void is going to be critical. We'll see, we'll see. The gyrocopter's still relatively nerfed. I can't believe it. You know, that's an aggressive gyro, though. The CDEC star, although he hasn't really made waves in the scene since TI5. Had a bit of a downturn, but at the same time, how stacked is the China region this year, right?
Seriously.
Oh, the rocket swap onto Fly. He's going to go down as well. Easy double kill.
Is that random, or does it prioritize heroes?
It is I believe it prioritizes heroes. I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, every time I see that, I'm like, I feel like it's luck, but then at the same time, it seems to go on the heroes most of the time. So I'm not sure if I actually do not know how that works, and I feel like I should.
Probably.
Bottom lane.
Probably, but that's why you're not a professional player, BSJ. You're just a caster.
That's
so
why I'm on the booth here.
Yeah. Rotation bot from the Beastmaster. They might try and find LC here, but I'm not sure it's going to work. 3-man. Ooh, big axe.
Oh, the bash.
Yeah.
He got the bash as he was going to get the movement speed with the overwhelming odds.
I think he might have escaped there, but he'll be all right. Interesting as well that Beastmaster choosing to go for a bottle. I don't mind this, actually. When you're playing against Wisp, you always want to have some incentive to contest runes because you want to anyway, so you might as well make sure you have the bottle just so they're value for you as well. Mid lane, though, Gyro Boat coming on the Lesh. Holy shit, S4 is just dead.
How much of an impact do you think? We obviously saw we missed the Bane gank onto Lesh, but I feel like that rotation to top from Lesh puts him at this like level disadvantage. Kunkka got the 6 before he did. And suddenly that snowballed. He's level 8, almost level 9 on Kunkka, and Lesh is only barely level 7 now.
I feel like a lot of that comes down to TP. As you said, Haystreet picked up on Wisp. No bottle on him, just the Soul Ring. Bane in trouble. He's got a Brain Sap and Sleep Up, but he's just going to go down. Wisp still with the Haystreet. He should be fine. Up top, Gyrocopter just free farming down bottom. Void having a little bit of pressure from the LC, but he's going to be okay.
He is going the aggressive build on the Gyro, the phase boots into drums. Pretty standard now. Usually we see the Ags. How do you feel about Ags Gyro?
I like it a lot more than Sanjin Yasha. You're always buying.
Hey, I actually agree with the Ags now, but maybe he'll skip it this game just because he has the IO, which I don't know if it's something you itemize around, but that level 15 talent.
I've been telling you for a year and a half to stop buying Sanjin Yasha, and you're telling me that now you've seen the light, and you're talking to me like
I had
like,
somebody that I could actually, I
course.
believe their opinion was of some sort of merit. I talked to this about.
Gotcha, I gotcha. Who cares if they're right? You know, it's more about whether they have the pedigree.
Yes, exactly. Somebody that had like placed well in a LAN, I think, was who it was. I can't remember exactly what player it was. It looks like they're looking to be aggressive in the top lane. Has a point in Edict, and Gyro just elects to TP out to his own shrine, actually. So maybe they'll look to contest this.
Yeah. I like that TP as well. It's like one of the more professional carry moves where you don't just TP to base or necessarily even the enemy lane because there's an LC there. You just kind of go to the jungle. You're close enough to defend, and you just have more options now where you can rotate to 2 different lanes. I like this move. They're going to smoke from behind tier 2. Rush Earn on. I like this no boots Wisp too. We've been seeing this a lot now that the Tether gives the same move speed as the hero.
The Soul Ring is something I have not seen very often.
They're going to try and defend this. They have the chrono up. First item, Helma Dominator on No Tail as well. And this is very smart because they guarantee the tower deny now, which will give 0 gold to the side of OG.
Yeah, it's super value. I built Helm Dom on Void, and it's pretty cool because the creep can move in your chrono. So now that he has a Centaur, he'll have some sort of follow-up on his own chrono. And obviously
Aurora down bottom on the Kunkka. Bottom lane, silence goes out on him as well. Stun lands. Torrent boat coming in, but if those axes land, and they do, he will go down. Nice pickup. And the bounty runes as well. Really big play there by Mad. Like, so much gold for that kill, actually, plus the bounties. The advantage, as you can see, went from like 3K a second
What
ago
is
to now
he
1K.
doing here?
Gyro in trouble. Rob, you're going to have to switch to my camera.
Oh my gosh.
BSJ is missing more kills.
There's too much going on at once, man.
I don't even know what to say. I can't come up with an analogy appropriate.
I'm sorry. Sometimes you're just not expecting to see Ancient Apparition, in the enemy team's jungle trying to get a deep ward up. I guess getting caught out by the two supports.
He's just doing his job, man. The goal is to feed.
Okay.
Look at his net worth. All right, they don't mean anything.
I had to pull that up now that you told me to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, even though IG pretty dominant in the laning phase, you can argue they did win all 3 lanes. Is it going to matter? That's the question. And I know this will make this is biased casting, but this is just how the cookie crumbles when one draft has a lot easier time making shit happen around the map. As you can see, Kunkka going down again. Jarek's Earth Spirit on point, been a part of every kill for his team thus far, and I'm really scared for IG once these supports start hitting 6 and begin being able to make plays around the map, because every single core sets up for a support. And whenever you have the better, I call it like the 1+1, like the core plus support equals kill, it just makes the game so simple to play because everyone can play around everyone. If you look at IG, once again, it's really this gyro of aggressive that's going to have to dictate the action for nearly the entire game. Wisp soon to hit 6, so they'll have a little more freedom, but after the relocate nerfs, it's over 2 minutes for a relocate to come back up, and I'm just not sure that's going to allow them to play with enough pace to take this game.
Yeah, I really like the Helmdom from Big Daddy here because of the fact that they now have the ability to play 3 lanes for the short term. It allows him before they have enough levels and items on the side of IG, but it looks like they're trying to smoke up to him. He's been creating pressure on this top lane with the Helmdom, and they know that they need to relieve it with this exact gank, and they will have the Fiend's Grip full duration into the boat and Torrent follow-up, and they will get the dual damage, so that's a really important gank for them. Because No Tail, he's just doing so much by existing there.
But that's the thing, they use 3 ultimates.
Yeah.
So it's even, like, I mean, obviously, yeah, it's worth it to an extent, but what does it give you? Down bottom, Earth Spear rolling in. That's a tethered gyro, though. You can't go for them unless you cancel this regen. AA's here as well. He's 6, but they're not going to be able to land a kill on anybody. Heal comes out. Earn as well. You can actually just keep diving here. Gyro takes the AA blast to the face. Here comes the reload forwards. Try and make sure he gets out of dodge. More TPs coming in. I think that's the Void. Long-ass TP, though. I hope you don't use the Chrono here, No Tail. No Tail's in some trouble, actually, as is Leshrac. Oh, no.
He didn't have his ulti on Lesh.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge deal.
Top tower is under attack.
I mean, as you can see, though, he's still doing so much damage. Oh, he misses another stun. That's like the 3rd or 4th stun I've seen S4 miss this game already. They get the kill on the Wisp. The respawns are so quickly coming out here. And S4 with a haste rune should be able to chase, get some more lightnings off. There it is. Bang. Okay, no. S4?
No comment on the
S4?
Oh, the missed kick as well. Tries to predict where he was TPing out, but outplayed himself with that preemptive kick. That level in time dilation is actually going to be a big deal this game, something that didn't mention in the draft, but time dilation, other than the Legion Commander being able to purge it, owns pretty much all the heroes on the side of IG.
Yeah. Works on Tidebringer as well on the Kunkka, so you can get to a point where all 4 of Kunkka's spells are on cooldown, and you're just deep doo-doo. I stand by. I always think about like BKBs and what you do either with them or against them. And while this gyro BKB timing is going to be really nice at a certain point, he can get roared, he can get chronoed, AA blast. Like, I'm just so concerned that if he can't stay in fights at all times, I just don't see how IG wins a team fight. Maybe this Kunkka goes off, we'll see. But I just feel like it's so much easier for OG to play this game still. Top tower, by the way, still at 104 HP. S4 is going to finish it, yeah. That's a big miscue, in my opinion. That's a lot of gold that you could have removed from the map had you just denied that a couple minutes ago. A smoke from OG as well for that play. Beastmaster, Earth Spirit are going to sit mid. They kind of sniff out that the enemy heroes are in the dire part of the map. You see that ward scouting out the IO. Gyro starting to rotate. Earth Spirit goes in onto the Gyrocopter. Hits the double stun. There's the Chrono. Chrono on cooldown 30 seconds. Chasing down, but you can't actually kill Gyrocopter unless you're able to get onto this Wisp. Way too much regen. The Blink almost landing. Grip going out on the Earth Spirit. He's probably dead 100%. AL goes off. The duel goes on Earth Spirit. Boat following up on top of the Void. He's going to barely survive. Leap in 2, dead. Gyro, oh wow, they go forwards as well. AA in big trouble, but he has the level 3 Ice Vortex, so he can get a lot of speed. Buyback on Jarek's Earth Spirit, but that's going to be way too little too late. No Roar, no mana up on the Beastmaster, and now Jarek's is also in a lot of trouble, but no real spells left. They have the Torrent follow-up coming in. There it is. It lands. Leshrac in trouble. Just kidding, he lands a stun, kills the Gyro, kills the Wisp, S4 cleaning up, and there's the power of that Leshrac. You have massive amounts of damage. Who gives a shit if the Wisp tethers in? There's absolutely no healing able to come out because he's just got the Edict up, ult running, so much damage, and what do you know, he lands the stun and shit goes down. So IG blow everything. They do win a successful team fight, but at the same time, that gold advantage did not move a muscle.
Yeah, it's still at the 1K, and it feels like once these items come up, the items for OG feel much more impactful. Like you said, you know, Gyro is electing to go, at least for the Yasha, and there's just so many things to be concerned about on their side, and it feels like once the Lesh tanks up with some, they go with the Chrono on the mid lane, followed up with the AA Blast, won't be able to save him with the Wisp regen because of it. Kunkka TP's in late, gets silenced, the 3-man kick from the Earth Spirit.
Huge time dilation as well onto the Wisp. He's in trouble as well. The boat's going to land. AA gets obliterated. Leshrac super low, but I think they're still going to be able to hunt down the Swift. Tether away, duel on top. They will get the Leshrac. Very well played by SRF there. They get the Bane too. Wisp dies as well. It's just LC versus the world, but they have nothing left for him. And they get 4, plus that tower. A ward placed as well during the team fights. They'll have great vision control of this mid area of the map too. And again, yeah, you lose a couple, but I stand by that every time these team fights go down, the trades don't really matter for IG because the wins don't translate into any objective pressure, whereas OG is taking a tower in the process of wiping the enemy side.
And they do have the relocate, obviously to save the Gyro if he gets chronoed, but none of the other stuff works on it, and if they get the AA Blast, it still doesn't feel good. He's out of the fight for the entire duration, and I just feel like the fights, as we've mentioned so many times, are just so much easier to play for OG. To get the jump is just so much more straightforward from all their forms of initiation between the Earth Spirit, the Beastmaster, and the Void. And now Lesh, I feel like with Lesh, you look at his items, he's just going to build all these greedy items, luxury items in terms of the Bloodstone. And then meanwhile, bottom lane, they get the full duration Fiend's Grip once again, follow up with the Kunkka into the Torrent boat combo. Should be enough damage, don't even need the boat. And this is important, because that's why they picked the Void to play like this, and so IG reading that really well, going to keep picking off. No-Tail has the Shadow Blade on Kunkka in order to set up that gank itself, and they have, looks like he's going to go Yasha into BKB on the Gyro, but I think that's really important they get pickoffs like that, but they have to keep doing it, because like you said, none of them are going to individually lead to an objective based on the lineup that they have.
I really would have preferred the Ags this game. The Yash is alright, but I think when you play against Chrono and Roar, it's just super nice to have Ags because you're effectively guaranteeing like 7 more seconds of DPS throughout a fight. I also just think you're going to want more HP because you need to live through this initial burst combo and the AA ultimate if you really want to like win this game for your side. Leshrac finishing a Bloodstone, by the way. S4 choosing to rush that, so 18-minute Bloodstone on him. And I stand by OG. They really just need that one fight. One fight into Roche, one fight into a couple of towers, and they can just sort of take over the game. You see Kunkka being tracked by the Beastmaster Bird. The Necro units chasing as well. They should be able to find it with this Chrono. No boat for a little bit as well. There's the Chronosphere. Blade Mail on the LC, so he's just going to take out S4 super quickly. Wow. Really well played by him, even though he had vision. Gyro ulti comes out as well. They reload into the fight. AA ult still on cooldown, so you have to get out because OG, they don't have any damage without a Leshrac. Now S4... Not S4, sorry. The rocket lands on No-Tail. Seb in a bit of trouble. He's going to run in onto the Bane. That's not the move, buddy. You should have probably gotten out of there.
Leshrac had instantly respawned, but he had no TP in order to rejoin the fight, so they are lacking damage, and IG able to take the long, drawn-out fight, and they're probably going to get this kill. 3-man stun from Jerax. Manages to maybe roll away, but Legion should be able to pursue the Urn, actually doing enough damage to tick him down. And without the Lesh, like you said, like he just gets dual Blade Mail. That is a nice way of dealing with the Leshrac. He killed himself on the Blade Mail of the Legion.
I don't like the play from No-Tail there as well, though. I think that you have to just be a little more conservative. You don't need to force a fight like that. You're not on a clock. You always have the answer to what IG wants to do in this game, which is just play around this super stacked Gyro and LC, and you have an AA for that. I really don't agree with the idea that you should be just forcing a Chronosphere onto a Kunkka, who's by far the tankiest target on his team. Just chill. Back up real quick, play around vision, get a big Chrono, but wow. In the meantime, a Blink Duel comes out, another kill onto the Beastmaster, 62 duel damage on this LC, 6, 1, and 8 at 20 minutes, and this, he is starting to snowball. well, and his BKB is going to come out very quickly. Same with this gyrocopter. And those BKB timings are actually pretty big for IG because it means they can just start a fight, and there's no real counterplay for OG as far as dealing damage to them.
Yeah, they have the disable, but they don't have the follow-up damage in order to bring them down if they are in the chrono before any of the spells hit. And they're getting all these deep wards as well, which will set up for nice Legion duels and take over the enemy side of the map. And in return, they are smoking again in the mid lane on IG, looking to possibly invade, maybe expecting the Leshrac to be going top as he is, because they know that if they don't see them in the enemy jungle, then they must be top.
Mm-hmm. I like this play. This is what you want to do as well. They got vision up. They controlled the enemy side of the map. They have wards everywhere. Now you just look for a fight on the other side. LC, blink ready, duel up as well. X-Torrent coming in. Big Chronosphere coming out. AA ult as well on top of the Kunkka, but he's very tanky. The boat comes out. He will go down. The IO Gyro relocated on the backside. Roar into the LC. The Wisp is going to go down right away here. Gyro will have no escape if they are able to take him out. The axes come in, but Beastmaster going down. They're going to get out of here with this Wisp in a second. He untethers the Gyrocopter, but now very slow. Is aggressive on the way out. Leshrac chases, gets off the lightning. If they get a bash, they get a kill. LC still with duel, but cannot find any entrance into the fight. Well played by Seb and the rest of OG, zoning him out properly, and you can see a much better chrono that time. Catches 2, and the heroes are nearby, and boom, Kunkka's 100-0 even through boat buff in the middle of that chrono, and wow, Wisp going down to Jarek's on the top side of the map as well. 13 assists for him. He's been present for all but 2 kills right now, demonstrating why he is still one of the best 4s in the world, even if OG is not one of the best 4 teams in the world.
Feels bad, man. Nah, I think that in that fight, the big deal was that Kunkka got initiated onto when he started the combo on the Beastmaster. So because he got chronoed, he couldn't issue the X pullback himself. He missed the entire boat and Torrent, and that's like a major part of their team fight. So if those abilities are missed, then suddenly it just looks really easy for OG to operate in the team fight. The lockdown, the control, the utility of the boat itself is pretty important here. And they just weren't afraid of anything at that point, and they got the favorable engagement, but yet they're still down by 1K.
Yeah, but I don't see that as really mattering that much. It just comes down to objectives. At this point, the game's going to come down to the 1 or 2 fights. Probably this first Roche and the second Roche are going to be big. I like No-Tail's item choice, by the way. I've always been thinking about what you can buy on Void other than Battle Fury and Mask of Madness. I like the HOD, but I'm still shocked that he didn't buy an Aquila because no one on his team has one. And I feel like
and he just has a slot open too.
Yeah, like there's just no reason not to buy the item. It is by far the most cost-efficient, like, gold for damage item in Dota, especially when you consider if no one else has a Bassi. It's just a free couple armor that your entire team is going to miss out on. You're playing against a Gyro. It's effectively 10% more HP.
Yeah, and we're seeing Secret almost every game, at least in the last tournament, going for the casual buckler. But we are seeing the smoke up from IG.
Silence on the Kunkka. He's going to go down. He just fucking explodes. Holy shit. Duel on the Lesh, though, with Blade Mail active. BKB Gyro reveal. He's flacking everybody with the high ground vision. Duel comes out. Leshrac going down. Gyrocopter just running rampant through the shrine. Does not give a damn. Triple kill for aggressive. Wisp reloads out again, but 4 down. And the courier. Jeez, what a fight from IG. And you could see OG saw that coming. They had a sentry down, but they were just too hesitant. Like, that was like 3 seconds late from No-Tail, so that chrono goes out on only 1. Instead of covering the entire choke, takes way too long to finish kills, and they were not ready for a Gyrocopter BKB'd running at their face. And aggressive just killed everything.
Yeah, and you saw that they just don't have the damage.
I'm so dumb as well. Why would he buy an Ags when the Wisp is just skilling Tether Grant Scepter bonus at level 15?
I mentioned that at the start.
I didn't hear that, but I noticed it just now, and that's why I said it.
The one intelligent thing I've said this entire cast, and you didn't hear it.
No, I'm taking credit for it. I'm not saying I didn't hear it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, it's gee, it's even worse.
Mid lane, Sleep coming out on top of the AA. He might be in some trouble, but here comes Lesh from the side. Kunkka is going to get the X off, possibly the stun from Lesh. Does not even get landed. BKB Gyro, this is a dead Lesh. Holy guacamole. What is going on? They don't even have Chronosphere up, but what's going on, boys? No-Tail running around with a Mjolnir recipe in his backpack. I'm sure that that's not the play. He does have an Ice Ogre, though, which I agree with when you're playing against a Gyro that's farmed. 8K advantage all of a sudden for IG, and I'm now really glad I didn't spend any compendium points predicting OG in this game.
Hey man, I'm glad that I predicted before the draft because I really liked OG's draft, but I had IG winning this game in my opinion points. So
Oh, there you go.
that was calculated from the beginning.
Also, a little late, but shout out to Shannon and Ebony watching the cast. Thanks for hooking us up with the password. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here to bring you this beautiful game of Dota.
Maybe we're thankful, but I don't know about the rest of the people here.
That's true.
And they do have the BKB done on the LC, so that's just another hero that they cannot deal with. If he gets the duel off, yeah, they can lock him down, but they're not going to be able to do anything to the Legion. And they have the BKB from the Gyro as well, and the Ag's talent is up on the Wisp, so they have that available, and that accelerates his farm even more. And that's why people have been buying Ags, because they increase cooldown on the flat cannon, really limits your ability to farm when you're not utilizing it. So the Ag's really great for that, and now he just gets it for free.
I mean, it's ridiculous, actually, how much damage he's doing just by walking around. And, you know, one thing, while I agree, I like this OG draft, I said it many times, it is a Wisp Gyro at the end of the day, and that combination of heroes is always stronger. The reload coming in bottom, X out on the Beastmaster. They missed the combo, though, completely. Now there's a Gyro here. The duel's going to whiff as well. Every ultimate now on the side of IG is down. Void in a bit of trouble, but he has Chrono available. They're just going to get out of dodge. It looks like a TP mid from Beastmaster. They're going to plant the Leshrac top. They find the Wisp, though. He comes back on top of that ward. If this is really good from OG if they can look to pressure the top side of the map with relocate and gyro ult on cooldown. But at this point, they're just so far behind, and all three cores of IG are now self-sufficient and able to find kills like almost on their own. The BKB on every core as well. Leshrac is completely nullified as a source of damage, and neither support really has the ability to do much either in the event that IG actually just find vision. Like, they don't even need to really kill anybody off the bat, but just get some spells cast, find OG's heroes, relocate on top, and all of a sudden you're just going to wipe the floor with them.
And it looks like OG wants to smoke up with that relocate, still on cooldown. We're going to see another scatter fight, it looks like. Only on the... Oh, we actually get the Legion in there as well. He will get bursted before the BKB. Does have the chase from the Roar onto the Bane. He goes down as well. Kunkka actually has a BKB of his own, but will they be able to turn this with the two core BKBs and the IO tether with the Ag Scepter bonus? Brings down the Ancient Apparition, will give up the chase on the Leshrac, and they don't have any other ultimates left on OG, so Gyro's pretty much free to do whatever he wants here. And the damage output's pretty insane, but the Kunkka does go down. Will they bring them down on the side of IG? The tankiness of this Gyro is insane, but he is Spirit Vesseled up, so the regen is quite insignificant. Does go down with the Aegis. They have the Leshrac in order to stun him when he comes back. Looks like a full wipe for the side of OG. No Tail is incredibly tanky against these long, drawn-out fights because of that Helm Dom, plus just the time walk spam.
I'm still really upset that he has a Mjolnir recipe in his back for like the last 10 minutes, though.
I don't really see the point in purchasing that before the Hyperstone myself.
I mean, 900 gold for a recipe when you could have just bought an Aquila? Yeah, I would agree. That literally could have been an Aquila.
I mean, but you can ping that, you know? That you say, I got the recipe, I'm ready.
That's true. I also just don't see the value of having a Mjolnir. Like, it doesn't really do much for you unless you have some hero that can make itself a target. But realistically, nobody can.
And they have all the BKBs on the side of IG as well.
Yeah, like, it's literally the 900 gold recipe is mostly for the buff onto yourself or a teammate. And it's just not as valuable in this game unless somebody's going to run into the gyrocopter, but realistically that hero is just going to die. I feel like he needs a BKB much earlier, and I just disagree strongly with this item choice. But
I don't mind the casual Maelstrom.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. But so you would agree, like, as the carry expert, that this is some,
of course.
Some
I just feel when I looked at his items, I thought that you do need some sort of like either a Lincoln's or a BKB. And since he went for the smaller items first, you know, it's a little too greedy to go for the Lincoln's as well. So I feel like if I'm a Void, I'm a little too paranoid in these fights. There's too many ways to get on top of me, and we see the initiation in the top lane. Does get the Yules off before the duel goes off with the BKB. Leshrac is going to go down to the burst. There's just no play to be made here when Leshrac's down. That's primary source of their damage for OG, so they're going to be retreating. But Aggressive's BKB is getting lower. He is down to the 6-second BKB, so that will play a factor as the game goes on. But the fact that he has that free axe just makes it such a big deal.
I definitely neglected to factor that into my thoughts on how much damage would this gyrocopter actually do, but you're effectively just giving him an extra attack every second. Like that is very significant when it comes to covering the flaws in IG's drafts, notably their lack of damage. Yeah, just going back to this Mjolnir on no-till, I feel like this was like this is like a BSJ 2015 decision, you know? Like now, like the new and improved BSJ would never do something like this. But then we got our boy No-Tail here at a major final, still with no Aquila. Boys and girls,
stage.
it's value. Okay,
It's the group stage. That's why.
Ah.
He's trying out the experimental builds. Not gonna lie though, I have not seen any build like this for Void. So maybe
the 3 TP Mana Pod Quelling Blade Mjolnir build.
I mean, he's 6-slotted at 30 minutes into the game.
That's true. That's pretty impressive.
I don't want to knock him. I think that his idea with the Mjolnir, now that I'm seeing it, is the Mjolnir plus the Helm Dom allows him to push lanes without actually showing his hero. And I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it, but it's interesting nonetheless against the pickoff of IG that he's able to push these lanes with just the Mjolnir active and the Helm Dom creep. But is it really worth that much of investment? Because like you said, in fights, there's really no hero to put the Mjolnir active on. Yeah, Leshrac can, but I don't think he's really tanky enough to stand in front and get gone on by the entirety of the IG lineup.
Butterfly picked up on the gyrocopter, so he will be much tankier, but I'm still concerned. You're running a single core lineup against an AA Beastmaster Lesh, so theoretically, if IG can just keep this gyro alive, they should be able to win team fights, but that's a lot easier said than done.
Breaks the smoke from the Beastmaster and manages to blink out. XXS is chasing, trying to get the X marks the spot, but they see him with the Sentry. Two-man chrono, well placed by No-Tail, but he lacks the damage. No AA ult to follow just yet. The AA blast hits onto 2, but he does get the BKB off. Looks like the fight's just going to dissipate, and Leshrac, meanwhile, pushing bottom, has BKB almost done, recipe away. Roche, we don't know exactly how long. It will be spawning in the next minute to 4 minutes. So I think both teams will be looking for that because of the fact that the nature of the burst from both teams between the Void and the Beastmaster with the AA follow-up as well as the dual combo. That AA just means a lot this game.
Oh, for sure. I think that that's super key for both teams in this game, notably for IG because you are playing with a single core lineup. If you can get this Gyro and Aegis, you have 3 saves effectively. The Relo, the Aegis, like you're going to have his BKB, and it just makes it a lot harder for OG to execute team fights because they can use any of these saves earlier than expected. You live through the roar and the AA ult, and all of a sudden Gyro's just whacking at your base for 1 billion damage a second thanks to that butterfly and the free Ags from the Wisp.
Yeah, something a lot of people don't realize is how much single target tower damage that Ags offers. So they're going to make sure the fight is forced, and this one core lineup becomes a lot scarier for IG when the guy has an Aegis.
Yeah, and you see No-Tail recognizing he needs MKB if he ever wants to target this Gyro, but I just stand by. You need a BKB in this game. And without one, I'm very scared that he might just catch a sleep, an X, a gyro rocket to the face even, and he's going to feel bad.
It's just so hard to play Void in teamfights when it's this way. The way I look at it is the time walk does have an awkward animation to it, like the task time and everything. And if you have to be concerned about so many sources of initiation, they don't have a save on the side of OG. So if he gets caught out, then he's just going to be bursted down before he gets that time walk off. And with how much net worth they have on the Void, obviously he is their 3rd in net worth, but he's a lot of their team fight, even if just to get the chrono off and to have that much paranoia about getting gone on. But he is fine with the duel onto the Lesh Blade Mail. Will bring him down before any of the OG is able to react. And these pickoffs are really racking up. He has 98 duel damage.
And it's just hard for OG at this point because like the Beastmaster's got a blink, but I mean I feel like No-Tail even could have maybe gone for a Shadow Blade this game, like some tool to give him more positioning. But right now he's just kind of forced to run around and just continue farming creeps. There's no way for him to really find pickoffs or start team fights because he doesn't have that mobility item, and he's already behind as well. So a full item or 2 behind the gyrocopter. Now if you're IG, you have Roche up, look to do it as soon as possible, and also this Wisp no boots, but earn Pipe, soon to have a BKB of his own on the Wisp. I mean, it shouldn't be underestimated just how much damage reduction that Pipe is going to be.
And did you think about the synergy with the level 20 talent on the Acceptor with Gyro?
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's Wisp Gyro, right? If you play it well and you get to this point in the game, like, it's definitely strong. And to your point, yes, you will actually be getting a second flak when you have that IO level 20 talent.
That's pretty insane. And that BKB is not a bad damage item for a strength hero. There's the 34 damage, and the fact that he has the BKB means he's going to live through long enough to get those flaks off, so it does hit the secondary target. It's not just the primary target of the flak.
Oh yeah, it's everything. It attacks everything you're attacking.
Wow. The
only other thing that makes it really cool is the puck rapid fire dream
coil.
I've seen that looks really cool as well.
Yeah, that was in all those the WTF videos coming out when the new patch with the with the talents for IO came out. I remember that one in the turbo mode games.
Yeah, I like the item build on LC as well. Like, he goes to the right item. Like, Blink Blade Mail, that was able to land the kill on S4 in a far earlier team fight in that early mid-game. And then he goes BKB into Shadow Blade because he recognizes, look, all I have to do is duel the Void or the Lesh, and I can always have my team reload in to secure the kill. It's just by far, I think, the best decision.
And it's so much harder to avoid an LC when she has the Shadow Blade. You don't really know where she's playing on the map unless she walks through the ward and sentry that OG did see. But even then, like, just by being off the map, she threatens all the lanes, and that's just so scary to play against, especially with the IO relocate follow-up. And just look at the way that OG has to play. But they do know that LC's in the trees. They find him, but he does have the BKB and is not able to get it off. They managed to burst him down. That's a crucial kill for them to open up the map. Roche is alive.
Yep. If they can get Roche off that, that's huge. They should be at least able to force a buyback. You see,
he has no buyback.
Yeah. Seb crushing this top wave in as well, so he'll be able to force 3 heroes to show. If you're OG and you have a smoke, I think you go straight to Roche right now, but they don't have Lesh BKB for like 100 gold, and I'm sure they want to finish that before they actually force any objectives.
So IG will see this with their ward. They will see No-Tail walking in. He does have the value cooling blade for the Roche damage.
That
35 minutes
that doesn't work on Roche.
It does, doesn't it?
I don't think so.
Unless they unpatched it. I'm going to have to look that up after the game.
They do have the Wolf, though, which is value.
That is a lot of damage coming out, but oh, they actually find the Leshrac. I didn't expect that, but S4 playing a little bit too confident.
They're all in on this Roche now. They need this kill. The
No-Tail providing the convenient alley-oop for the boat combo onto his own teammate. They also let them get the cheese as well. So while they do get the Aegis on No-Tail, you know, I feel like for you probably have seen the chrono clips of me on Reddit. I feel like that's worse than anything I've managed to pull off myself. That was quite... The idea is that he's trying to stop them from blinking in and stealing the Aegis, but that just seems a little ludicrous to chrono right on top of his own teammate. I don't really have much else to say about that. The look on your face is even better than the play itself.
Yeah, I mean, let's just focus on this team fight. You know,
yeah,
we got more Dota in hand. No-Tail leaps in, MKB and Aegis up on him, but he catches a torrent to the face and immediately goes down. The sleep to
dodge.
Get rid of the AA ult damage, but oh my goodness, look how much damage that gyro just did to the tier 3 right just then. That was some sauce right there. Wow, well, that was an interesting use of the Aegis. They do defend the tier 3. No-Tail.
Still, I'm still mentally
sacrifice.
recovering from whatever I just witnessed. That was interesting. I mean, that's like one of those plays where you're like next level yourself, I think. You're just trying to out-meta game, and you just do that. That's my excuse every time I do it, at least.
Man, you want to take over? I got to recover for a few minutes, I think, about that, because I don't even know how to break this game down. I'm supposed to be the Auric Kyle. I said this is an easy win for OG. I still stand by if they collectively
pull themselves together.
Yeah, and like play good, they're just going to win. But the key thing is to get good and not play bad.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter how good your draft is if you can't execute. I'm sure you've heard that one before.
I mean... All right, let's talk about what does OG do to get back into this game? Well, first off, we're going to need a BKB on our boy No-Tail. Second, you got to play around vision. You got to find that initiation. You have 4,000 gold on Seb. He's had a lot of gold for a long time. He looks to be going for a nullifier. I stand by Crimson Guard is the item against the Gyrocopter. They need more damage reduction right now because at the moment, all IG has to do is hit their spells on somebody and that guy dies. Like we saw No-Tail in the base just then. He literally just had a gyro hit him and caught a torrent after an X. Like that's it. Kaput. He's dead.
What do you think of this TP from Gyro? I feel like they could have kept the bottom lane pressure up, but before they forced out the TPs from OG here.
I think it's a bit scary because they only have that one ward on the high ground. You don't want to be in a position where the Gyro Wisp get caught when your team is that far extended away from you. The only way you lose this game as IG is if the Wisp Gyro get taken out. If you're OG, those are the 2 heroes you want to hunt.
Yeah, because if they go on anyone else, the Wisp Gyro can come in to
exactly.
Okay,
I mean,
like
Kunka 3,300 HP, the LC with like 2,500. I mean, these heroes are not going to die. And you don't want to be in a position as OG if you're chronoing, say, the Kunka. Yeah, you might be able to take him out 100-0, but the Gyro will just reload in with no chrono threat and kill everybody. And he's going to have a Daedalus in a second, BSJ. He is going to hit hard.
Yeah, and the IO. I mean, the IO's going to hit every target on top of him, so that flak just give him an extra 140 damage on his flak cannon. That's no joke.
What do you think about the global call-down talent instead of the 3 homing missile charges, level 25?
I think it's interesting, especially because the Void doesn't have a BKB, so if he actually just sent the rockets onto the Void, that would lock him down. I personally like it a lot as a talent. Like, I think it's underrated compared to the homing missile. Like, I think the homing missile overall is better, but I think that a lot of people undervalue the effect of being able to call down from anywhere, especially in the fact that you have the Wisp relocate, so he can call down as he's getting relocated, which I think is kind of interesting. Curious to see how it plays out. What his idea behind this is. Are you going to use it to just clear creep waves, or is he actually planning on it being impactful in the fights?
I have no idea, BSJ. I have no idea about a lot of things that happen in this game, so I'm just going to kind of play it by ear.
Okay.
Looks like Void is going to go for a Linken's, by the way.
And that just, I feel like in this game, the Linken's is only good early. Like, that's how I thought about it, because it lets him play the lanes when they only have one source of initiation on you. But now that they have the 2 Shadow Blades, and the Legion can even opt to build an item that breaks Linken's if she so chooses, then I don't know. Linken's, as the game goes on like this, just loses its value.
Yeah, I would agree. And I stand by. I just really think they're missing a Crimson Guard. You have a Halberd up on Jarex, but if he doesn't get that off before the Gyro BKB, it's just not going to matter. And in the meantime, Crimson Guard is a lot of damage reduction. It's plus armor to your entire team and 60 damage block. Like, that just seems too good to give to not go.
And the lack of save as well as tankiness items is showing on these Legion duels. I think every fight Legion duel has that it's gotten off has killed the target, and that's something we didn't expect to see. At least I didn't when we saw the draft. But the damage output, like we've seen from the Gyro, I mean, his net worth is skyrocketing, and it's even deceiving. He has that extra item from the Wisp bags.
Yep. I thought he was going to play without boots, but he actually chooses to buy the boots of travel. He was running around at like 500 move speed with no boots, just thanks to the Wisp tether plus the S and Y, but and the move speed talent, right? Like, one of the things that makes Gyro just so strong on this patch. 50 move speed, level 20, not bad, man.
No joke to have, like, it's free boots. So if he elects to put the boots of travel in his backpack, he'll have those 6 slots.
I would have liked to see him just get 6 slotted, maybe look to go high ground a bit, but it's always difficult because even though he's so farmed, he still just dies in a chrono to AA ult and magic damage, which is the big issue with the single core lineup, as we've talked about a lot. But again, OG just not really executing to like you would want them to if they were going to take this game cleanly. Void, he's changing it up, by the way. He's going for an Ags, not a Linken, so he definitely agrees with you. He's going to find a DD. Is
Blade
this
Mill
the play?
activated before the chrono. He had to do it in order to avoid the dual going off, but I mean, luckily for them, I mean, they know this. Roche can't possibly spawn for the next 2 minutes, but that will give a lot of map control to IG. They have no fear of a counter initiation from OG now, so any target they do find with the Legion they'll have no hesitation to go.
There is a nullifier now on the Beastmaster. Is that what we want here? Is that good?
Like you said, I feel like the team fight items could be really useful, but at the same time, they have no way to deal with BKB. So and they don't have like a Lotus Orb or anything like that. They do have the Purge from Legion to remove the nullifier, which makes it definitely lose its value. I just feel like if they go on the Legion or the Gyro or even the Kunkka, if they get their BKB off, they're just never killing them. So I think that he's realizing that maybe it's not the most ideal scenario, but it's an item that if they don't build it, their fights are just super awkward.
And down bottom, Leshrac might be in trouble here if he looks to go over this creep wave, but
Spidey sense is tingling. All of IG's missing. 2 lanes are not being pushed.
It's the part where the game breaks down. Who will when they kill the bird off?
Morbid Mask. Look at the satanic build on the Wisp, knowing that he has the... Wait, so does Wisp's secondary attacks get the lifesteal from the flak? Are those like considered primary target attacks? I don't actually know.
I don't think he gets the... Oh, no, he does. He attacks every target.
So he gets the satanic lifesteal from all...
Yes.
Every target.
Yes.
Now that's cool.
That's cool. One of those just weird Dota 2 mechanics you don't see very often, but I stand by, like, this Wisp hero is arguably, like, the best pick in Dota right now because it just gives you so many combinations of awesome stuff. Oh, top lane, Relo coming in as well. The duel goes out on the Void. No Tail just immediately explodes. Roar onto the Gyro, but it's purged off immediately, and Seb is in a lot of trouble.
That nullifier coming into play.
He has no buyback.
Blade. Yeah, I was partially joking there a bit, but at the same time, like,
They just don't have the save for Void, as you saw.
What? The AA in some deep trouble as well. Holy shit, he's dead.
And I went to scratch my face there a second and miss another kill. But
Is that just game?
No
Tail has a buyback, but is that even going to matter?
I
They
was
have
just
no
going to
Beastmaster.
shred this tower with that Axe plus all these damage items. And they
Don't
look like
back-
they're
don't
going to
be
back off.
No,
wimp,
get in there.
No wimpiness here. No pussy.
There is a BKB on the Lesh, but he might just get dueled in 7 seconds. He uses himself?
I think he instantly canceled the Fiend's Grip on himself there from the Bane, but they get the Chrono onto the Gyro. The AA ult to follow, doesn't have the BKB activated, gets it off before the burst damage is enough, and that Axe damage is just so much from the Gyro. No Tail just obliterated. That looks like game to me. They have no way to reliably lock down the Gyro, who has a Satanic available, so once he gets that off, he will heal.
Oh, wow,
the
the sleep on the... Oh, my goodness. He slept the cold feet, baited in the Lesh and the Earth Spirit, and they were thinking maybe they could finish him off, which they had to try for, but... Yeah, Baboko with the laughing beeps. I think that just cleans up the game. As you said, Lesh buys back, but do they even care? Like, look at how much damage Gyrocopter's doing.
They have to wait for this creep wave, but that's only delaying the inevitable. Beastmaster is alive at 20, but the Gyro just... I don't think he's scared of anything.
I don't either. And, I mean, this is just the aggressive show, man. This is flashbacks to TI5. You just have a Gyrocopter running rampant. A nice quick S. Oh, my, look at this. You see the wisp?
Attacks, yeah.
Holy shit. Oh, the AL misses. There's no way you kill him now. Oh, my perfect roar. Look at this. Easy peasy.
Gyro, they just have no damage.
Yeah,
for this
they literally can't kill him. He's just sitting there. There's a Wisp tethering him the entire time. They're just going to clean up. OG with their trademark and never go out, never surrender till your throne goes down. But I got to say, clean game from IG, but I still am not sure what to say about certain questionable decisions that OG made in this game.
I agree. I really liked the Helm of the Dominator from Void, but then he just built no items that allowed him to actually be on the map. If they spotted him with a Shadowblade Legion, he's dead. And that just makes the game inevitably, you're going to get picked off at some point because they're going to find you sometime. And
yeah.
And that's what happened is they eventually got picked off and he was forced to buy back and he has no defensive items while this Gyro has a bonus damage item as well as this tether into the overcharge. And you're just dealing with a core that's twice your net worth, and he's got all those bonuses on top of it. And even though they only had the solo core against the AA, it just felt incredibly underwhelming.
I feel like it's play more than anything else, right? Like, I stand by. I don't think there's ever a reason you shouldn't buy Aquila. I just don't like No-Tail's item choices. I feel like you nerf yourself significantly by skipping the ideal build-up item for any agility hero and then buying Mjolnir recipe, like, third item. Like, that's his third item. It's Helma Dominator, Maelstrom, Mjolnir recipe. And 900 gold is not a laughing matter,
when that's
especially
10%
when you're
of your net
behind.
worth.
Yeah, and you're behind. You can't afford to go for these sorts of just squandered items. You know, it's like playing battleships on the old Warcraft 3, okay? Some guy's walking around with like the long range things, just waiting to buy like his 12K item, and you're just upset because it's just like, all right, cool, man. He always kill steals you too. It's just unbelievable.
I'm going to nod my head as if I understood that reference.
There's at least 4 people out there watching that understand that.
Okay,
so.
then for those 4 people, I believe that had to be an incredibly accurate reference. But I usually try to rationalize when I look at like the carries builds. And the Helm Dom, like I really understood he wanted to keep the lane pressure up because they wanted to separate the Wisp Gyro lineup before they had the ability to reliably pick off with the Blink Legion. But after that, I'm envisioning how he plays fights in the map, and I just don't see it.
And that's something like I've learned as well, right? Because I've had to it's like when I watch you play games and I see your items, I think to myself, there's got to be some sort of logic behind this. Like,
I don't know what it is.
What's BSJ thinking? Because he might be on some next level shit. But what you'll learn the more you watch these professional games of Dota is that sometimes people just really don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, his build was just all over the place, and I don't know. Whenever I don't grasp it unless they win, I'm just like, well, that makes sense that I couldn't grasp it because it didn't seem to work. But at the same time, you know, I do feel like their draft was good, and they...
I think it's a textbook OG draft that they would win were they playing on point? And it could be a bit of jet lag. I don't know exactly when they showed up in China. But as a team, they were a bit disjointed. There were a couple of Chronospheres, a couple of Roars that were just far too early for the team to connect to.
And they also hesitated sometimes.
Yeah, no Shadow Blades, like a lack of mobility items. They had second item bots on S4 or third item bots. Like they just never really, they have one BKB, you know what I mean? They never really itemized to ever hit some timing for a fight. And the aggressive Gyro just sort of ran all over them.
And I think they relied on S4 to snowball this game, and I think he played a little bit too much like an offlaner in the early game with that rotation. He was 2 levels behind the Kunk all of a sudden, and then they got the Blade Mail duel on him when he got his Bloodstone.
You play into the Lesh. Don't make the Lesh play into you guys. Like, let the Beastmaster feed. Let the Void feed.
Just let him hit creeps while you gank for him.
Just kill Kunkka. You have an Earth Spirit. As soon as Lesh hits level 6, it's literally just a 100% kill. The Wisp can TP in, but his is going to get his tether, or rather his heals canceled just thanks to the Lesh running nearby. We'll see. We'll see what happens in Game 2. Let's make sure we actually enter that lobby.
That's a good idea.
We're also going to probably switch over our observer for this next game. You guys, I don't know about that kind of work, BSJ.
Hey, you know,
got a little distracted
warm
at
up,
times. Warm up. All right. We'll give you another try. We'll give you another try. If anybody has any constructive criticism for the cast, for Banana Slam Jamma, just make sure to tweet at him. It's at Banana Slam Jamma. If any of you guys out there watching have any constructive criticism for me, you can just do that exact same thing. Just tweet that at Banana Slam Jamma, because he's gonna read it, and I won't.
Slowly. He'll have his agent read it for him.
Yeah, do we throw to break now? Is that how it works? Let's find out in a second.
Jumping right into Game 2. Let's see, is the lobby up?
I don't hear production in my ear. Maybe BSJ does.
Looks like that lobby is indeed up.
Is it? I don't see it. See, I can hear Rob from like the background, but I don't actually hear him in my headset. But he can probably hear me.
Very quiet.
You're very quiet. Very quiet. Wait, how'd you find
Professional
that
casting
game?
studio here. I found it.
There we go. That's much better. We can hear you now. You had game music on, Brian? Jesus Christ.
Hey, you know.
What is this, amateur hour?
Working out the kinks.
Unbelievable.
Hey, you know, all you can ask of anybody is that they do their best.
That's true.
And even if the best is leaving the in-game music on and Steam notifications, you live and you learn. You're allowed to make the mistake once, right, Kyle?
Yes, everybody gets a second chance.
Thank you.
I'm just happy we can be here. I mean, obviously, guys, you're tuning in. This is more of a casual broadcast. I think we'll probably just skip the break for this one so you guys can get the full experience of Banana Kyle Slam a Jamacast. And, you know, there's some issues. We're working out the kinks. But I think that over time, me and BSJ are going to really start. This is going to be the beginning of a wonderful partnership.
Yes, there you go. And I feel like, you know,
No, other hand.
Oh, other hand? Okay.
I feel good about this.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel. Some sensation that I can't really